Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this beautiful Tuesday morning. It is fantastic out there, but it's going to be a scorcher right early. So wear your sun cream. Mark chapter 13, verse 30. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. So Jesus, truly I say to you. So that's a re-emphasizing of what he's saying and what he said. It's going to be a reality in history one day. So you can mark his words. When Jesus says something, you can mark his words in your calendar because they are going to come to pass. The same person that was involved in the beginning of the earth when he said, let there be light and let there be creation and let there be. So the same person is revealing the reality of the things that will come as opposed to those things that have come. So we can feel confident when Jesus says, mark my words, or truly I say to you, you need to listen to this. Truly I say to you. And what does he say? He says this, this generation will not pass away until all these things. So we think, oh, okay. So the Jews, the generation that Jesus is talking about, this reality is not going to pass until all these things come to pass. So now Jesus has given himself what seems to be a timeline, a line where these things are going to happen in the context of this generation before this generation passes away. But quite clearly, the reality of those things didn't happen in that way. So what do we do when we see something not quite what we think is being said, and clearly it hasn't been said in that way? When Jesus was talking about this generation, he's talking about the nation as it represents itself. The nation of Israel will never pass away. This will not pass away, this generation, this nation, until he comes. We talk about a generation in a different way, every 10 years or so, as they say. And each generation gets labelled a different name. But Jesus is talking about the nation of Israel. This generation, this nation is not passing away until all these things come to pass. And if you look at the nation of Israel, it has to be the oldest legitimate nation in the world, that they can trace their history as a nation right back to Abraham, right back to the very beginning of when God called Abraham and began the promised fulfillment in Israel, when God gave Israel to the world as a representation of his presence with a nation. It wasn't that Israel itself was special, but God made them special in that he chose them. So the special reality of Israel is that they were chosen by God to be the representation of God on the earth, to show the world what living with God could be like, so that all the other nations would want to come to God as well. Unfortunately, they did not represent God and haven't in so many areas of their existence. But the church is supposed to be doing the same thing. And that also has not represented God in the same way that God wanted the church to represent himself. Brothers and sisters, these things will not pass away. This nation will not pass away until all these things come into being. Israel is going to be there at the end. Thank you for joining me. Be blessed. Have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow.